to continue looking at the subject of humility.
今天我想继续要学习谦卑的功课。
I am convinced that it's the greatest need among Christian leaders.
我相信这在众基督徒领袖当中是一个很大的需要。
For when you are in a leadership position,
当你作为一个领袖的时候，
the greatest temptation you will face is that of pride.
你要面对的一个最大的挑战和试探就是骄傲。
And so we need to be humble men and women.
所以我们一定要成为一个谦卑的人。
In the last session, I spoke about the importance of humility.
上一课我讲到了谦卑的重要性。
And I want to speak in this session about what humility is.
那么在这一堂课，我要讲讲谦卑它到底是什么。
But before I do, I want us to read from the scriptures.
那么在我们讲之前，我要读一段经文。
In 1 Peter chapter 5 and verses 1 through 6.
彼得前书第5章1节到6节。
Peter addresses specifically spiritual leaders.
彼得写这封信是给属灵领袖写的。
And he summarizes all of what he has to say by exhorting them with humility.
那么在信的结尾是来劝勉这些属灵领袖。
So let's read verses 1 through 6 of 1 Peter chapter 5.
所以让我们来读一读彼得前书第5章1节到第6节。我这做长老做基督受苦的见证，同享后来所要显现之荣耀的，劝你们中间与我同做长老的人，务要牧养在你们中间的神的群羊，按照神旨意照管他们，不是出于勉强，乃是出于甘心；也不是因为贪财，乃是出于乐意；也不是辖制所托付你们的，乃是做群羊的榜样。到了牧长显现的时候，你们必得那永不衰残的荣耀冠冕。你们年幼的也要顺服年长的，就是你们众人也都要以谦卑束腰，彼此顺服，因为神阻挡骄傲的人，赐恩给谦卑的人。所以你们要谦卑，服在神大能的手下，到了时候，他必叫你们升高。
Now, Peter writes and talks about some of the styles of leadership that we discussed yesterday.
彼得在这段经文中谈到了有关我们前几堂课谈到不同属灵领袖的风格。
And he said, you're to be an example to the flock.
所以他说，你要做群羊的榜样。
And that your style of leadership is not to be one of dictatorial.
你做领袖的风格不应该是压制式的，
But you're to be a servant.
而是你要成为一个服侍人的，
And you're to be an example to the flock.
而且你要以身作则。
And then he concludes what he says to these elders and leaders.
然后他做了一个总结，
And he says, humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand.
所以他说，你们要自卑，服在神大能的手下。
And he will exalt you in due time.
到了时候，他必叫你们升高。
If you will walk in a spirit of humility,
如果你走在一个谦卑的灵中，
then in God's time, he will lift you up.
到了神的时候，他会要使你高升。
God will establish your leadership.
神会要使你成为一个好的领袖。
If you will walk humbly with him.
如果你跟神谦卑的同行
So
的时候，
what is humility? And how do we get it?
那么谦卑到底是什么？我们如何才能得到谦卑？
I asked a couple of Romanian friends that question.
我问过我几个罗马利亚的朋友这个问题。
I said to them, if humility is so important,
我对他们说，谦卑是非常重要的。
then how do we get humility?
那么我们如何才能得到谦卑呢？
And what is humility?
谦卑到底是什么呢？
And one of them said something very interesting to me.
有个人说了一件很有意思的事，
He said, humility is a very strange thing.
他说，谦卑是一个很奇怪的事情。
Because the moment that I think I've apprehended it,
他说，在我以为理解的那一刹那，
it's in that moment that I've lost it.
也就是在那刹那，我却丢失了。
You see, if you think you are humble,
所以你以为你谦卑的时候，
then you're probably not humble.
可能你真是不谦卑。
This was the problem of the scribes and Pharisees.
这就是那些文士法利赛人所存在的问题。
They would stand on the street corners.
他们会站在街的角落，
And they would pray and they would fast.
他们会祷告，会禁食，
Now, both of those are good things to do.
这都是好事情。
Both of those are things that spiritual leaders should do.
这也都是那属灵领袖当做的事情。
But they did it for one purpose.
但是文士和法利赛人却是为了一个目的
They
做的，
wanted to be seen by other people.
也就是他们要别人看到他们那样做，
They wanted to appear to be
也
spiritual.
就是他们要表现出他们是属灵的，
They wanted to show off their humility.
他们要展示他们的属灵的灵
But
性。
there was something they did not understand.
但有一件事情是他们不明白的，
Humility is not an outward characteristic.
谦卑不是一个外在的表露，
But humility is an inward attitude.
而谦卑却是内在的一种态度。
I meet people occasionally who walk around and they try to look humble.
我看到过有人尽量的使自己显得谦卑。
You cannot look humble
你不可能显出谦卑来，
because humility is not something on the outside.
因为谦卑不是在外在能够看得见的，
Humility is on the inside.
而谦卑却是在里边的。
So, first of all, humility is not superficial religiosity.
所以，首先，谦卑并不是一个外在的宗教仪式。
Secondly,
第二，
humility is not comparing ourselves to other people.
谦卑也不是要让我们跟其他人去比较。
If you want to be humble,
如果你要谦卑的话，
then you cannot compare yourselves to others.
你就不能够跟其他人去比。
Because when you compare yourself to someone else,
如果你跟其他人去比的话，
you will become proud.
你会变得骄傲。
Now, yesterday someone asked about the question of competitiveness between leaders.
昨天有人谈到领袖之间有各样的争竞，
And the reason that is dangerous is because it produces pride in our hearts.
这样的争竞有一个危险，就是这样使领袖的心中会产生各样的骄傲。
And pride is opposed to humility.
骄傲是阻挡谦卑的，
And God is opposed to the proud.
神是阻挡骄傲的人的。
So don't compare yourselves to others.
所以不要跟其他人去比。
You can always find someone that you're just a little better than them.
你总是会可能找到有些人你比他们只好一点点，
But you need to get your eyes and your focus on Jesus Christ.
但是你要注目于耶稣。
And the spiritual leader has one example that he looks to.
属灵领袖只要有一件事情要抓住，
And that example is Jesus.
那就是耶稣基督的榜样，
To become like him.
要学像他。
A number of years ago when my son was just a little boy,
许多年前，当我的儿子还是个小男孩的时候，
he ran in a race against some bigger boys.
他跟一些大孩子赛跑，
And they gave him a head start so that he would have a chance to win the race.
他们让我的儿子先跑一阵，所以他才能够赢。
And so they said, take your marks, get set, go.
所以他们说，蹲下，预备，跑。
And so he started running.
他开始跑，
And he was winning the race.
他开始比他们都跑得快了。
And I thought to myself, he's going to win the race.
我在想，我的儿子可能会要跑赢这场比
But he
赛，
did something.
但他做了一件事情，
He turned around to see where the other boys were.
他停下来往后看，其他男孩跑到哪儿了？
And when he turned around to see where the other boys were,
他往后看，看那些大孩子已经跑到哪儿
do you
了？
know what happened?
你知道发生什么事情吗？
The other boys passed him up.
其他男孩就超过他了，
And he lost the race.
然后他失败了。
You see, the Bible in Hebrews chapter 12 says we are in a race in the Christian life.
你看圣经希伯来书第12章说，我们基督徒的生命也好像是一场赛跑。
And the Bible says we are to look into Jesus,
圣经上说，我们是要看耶稣基督，
who is the author and the perfecter of our faith.
耶稣是我们信心创始成终的人，
And so the Christian life begins by looking unto Jesus.
所以我们基督徒的生命是要以耶稣为参照物。
If you begin looking anywhere else, you've begun in the wrong place.
如果你开始左顾右盼的时候，你就看错地方了。
Salvation comes when we look into Jesus.
当我们看耶稣基督的时候，救恩才会来。
It continues as we look unto
当我们
Jesus.
仰望耶稣的时候，救恩就会在我们里面
And it
实现。
finishes as we look unto Jesus.
到冲完终点的时候，我们还是在看耶
But do you
稣。
know what I have discovered happens to many
你
Christians?
知道，我注意到一点，有件事情发生在很多基督徒身上，
And especially this happens to Christian
特别
leaders.
是很多属灵领袖有这方面的问题，
As we are in the race of the Christian life,
就是在我们奔跑那前面的路的时候，
we have our eyes on Jesus.
我们注目于耶稣，
And then we hear someone from the stands yelling, "Oh, you're doing good, you're doing good."
然后我们听到看台上有声音说：“啊，你跑得很好，做得很漂亮。”
And we say, "Oh, hello."
然后我说：“哎，你好。”
And we get our eyes off Jesus and we start looking at everyone saying,
然后我们开始不看耶稣，看到看台上对我们喝彩的人。
you see, there are two great dangers for the spiritual leader.
你看，作为一个属灵领袖，有两方面最大的危险。
And humility is the answer to both dangers.
那么谦卑也是解决了这两大危险的答案
The。first danger is criticism.
第一个危险就是批评。
Now, we saw what happened with Moses during criticism in the last.
我们看到摩西是遭到了怎样的批评？
He handled criticism with a spirit of humility.
他是用一个谦卑的灵来应付这些批评
So
的。
criticism is the first danger.
所以批评是第一个危险。
How will you respond to it?
你如何来应对这些批评？
If you have your eyes on Jesus,
如果你注目耶稣的时候，
you'll respond the way Jesus
你
responded.
会以耶稣的态度和方式来应对批评，
And he had a spirit of humility.
那么你就会有一颗谦卑的灵。
But the second danger for the leader
那么第二个
is compliments.
就是恭维，
Is when someone says something good about you.
就是就是有人故意说你好的时候，
Someone will come and say, "Oh, you're doing a wonderful job serving the Lord."
有人会跑过来对你说：“嘿，你侍奉主真是很卖力，你侍奉的很好嘞。
You're going to think, "Oh, yes, ”
你说对，
I am doing a good job."
我就是这样做的还可以。
And the moment you begin to think that,
当你那样想的时候，
you lose the source of your power.
你就失去了你能力的来源
And
了。
many of us spend so much time waving to the fans in the stands that we don't have our eyes on Jesus.
你可能会花太多的时间向那站台上向你欢呼的人招手，而将你的视线转移了。
And so when someone comes and compliments you, what should you
所
do?
以当有人跑过来恭维你的时候，你会怎样做呢？
Take the honor that they have bestowed on you
放在你身上的这些荣耀，
receive it and immediately give the glory and the honor back to Jesus
接受
Christ.
他们的同时，马上就把这荣耀赞美的归给耶稣
And
基督
say,。all the honor
所有的
that
这
has
些
been
荣耀
given，to me belongs to you, Lord Jesus.
所有的这尊荣都归给你，耶
And
稣基
never
督。
forget that.
千万不可忘记这一点。
And humility always will point you back to Jesus Christ.
谦卑永远都会带你走回到耶稣基督那儿，
Don't compare yourself to others.
不要跟人家去比。
For instance,
比如，
let's say God has given you 5 talents,
假如说神给了你5方面的恩赐，
and God has given someone else 1 talent,
神只给另外一个人1个恩赐，
and you both accomplish the same thing.
那么你们都完成了同一样事情。
You could say, "Hey, look, I've done just as much as that person."
你会说，你看那个人所
You
做的，
could
我也
say,
做了。
"I've accomplished as much as that person."
你看我做了，他做了什么，我也做了什么。
But the truth is, God had given you more and expected more of you.
但事实上，神给了你更多，他也希望你能为他做更多的事。
So if you compare yourself to other persons,
如果你跟另外一个人去比的话，
you're going to be in trouble with God.
那么神就会给你找麻烦。
You just keep your eyes on Jesus.
你就要注目于耶稣，
And Jesus will use you the way he wants to use you.
耶稣会要按照他的想法来使用你，
And he will use others the way he wants to use them.
神也会按照他自己的打算去使用其
There
他的
are
人。
many other evangelists in the
那
world
世界上还有很多其他不同的布道家，
that God is using in a mighty way.
神都在用不同的方法使用他们。
And see, I want to pray for them.
你看，我要为他们祷告，
That God will use them even more.
神会要更多的使用他们，
That God will use them in a mighty way.
神会要更大的使用他们。
I'm not in a competition with
我
them.
没有在跟他们竞争，
I am simply trying to serve Jesus Christ.
我只是要服侍主耶稣基督。
So I need to keep my eyes on Jesus.
所以我要注目于耶稣。
So what is humility?
所以谦卑到底是什么？
It's seeing that there's something outside of ourselves that is the key to success.
就是要看到在我们生命以外有一个成功的秘诀。
It's seeing that our success is not because of us, it's because of God.
而是让人看到我们的成功是取决于神，而不是取决于我们自己。
And it's because of those people that God has placed around us.
也是取决于神放在我们身周的那些人。
Many years ago, I was talking to a very, very successful businessman.
很多年前，我跟一群生意做得很好的生意人谈话
And，I was talking to him about why he had become so successful.
我问他们：你们怎么做得这么出色呢？
And I'll never forget what he said to me.
我永远都忘不了他对我所说的话。
He said, Sammy, there are many other businessmen much smarter than
他说：
me.
田撒麦，世界上有很多生意人比我们的智商要高1000倍
He says, I can't compete with them.
我们无法跟他们争竞。
They know more, they understand more than I do.
他们知道的更多，他们比我们明白的更多
And。he said, the only thing I know to do is depend upon the
他
Lord.
说：这唯一的事情我能够依靠就是神。
And if I depend upon the Lord,
如果我靠神的话，
he will lead me.
他会带领我，
And whatever success I have will be of him.
我所有的这些成功都会归给他。
And he is a very wise man.
那个人是个很聪明的人，
And the leader, the Christian leader who understands the same
做
thing.
领袖的一个基督徒的领袖也要明白同样的
It's
事
not
情，
my
就
preaching.
是说，在我的讲道理，
It's not my knowledge, not my understanding.
不是我的知识，也不是我的理
It's
解能力，
God who gives me success.
是神给了我这个成功。
And I must depend upon the Lord.
我要把成功归功于神，
And I must be led by him.
我也必须要由他来带领。
So humility is understanding that our victories, our successes come from the Lord and not from ourselves.
所以成功是在于我们要取决于神，我们的胜利、我们的得着都是来自于神。
And then finally, humility comes from seeing God for who he is.
最后，谦卑是从看见神而来的。
When I was speaking to those two Christian leaders in Romania,
所以，当我跟那2个罗马尼亚的基督徒说话的时候，
and I said, what is humility?
我说：什么是谦卑？
And how do we get humility?
我们如何得到谦卑呢？
One of them said to me,
他们其中有个人对我说：
humility comes from seeing God.
谦卑是从看见神而来的。
When I see God in his greatness,
当我看到神在他极大的荣耀中的时候，
I see how small I am.
我可以看到我自己是多么的渺小。
When I see God in his holiness,
当我看到神的圣洁的时候，
I see how sinful I am.
我看到我身上的污秽。
As we see the Lord,
在我们看到神的时候，
as we behold him for who he
在我们
is,
持守他是谁的时候，
then we see ourselves and we say, oh God,
那么看到我们自己说：哦，神呐，
help me
帮助我，
because I'm not like you.
因为我还不像你，
Make me more like Jesus.
让我能够更像你，耶稣。
The great need that we have
有个很大的需要，就是
is the need to see God for who he is.
就是要看待神他的本性。
A couple of years ago, I interviewed Dr. Bill Bright.
几年前，我采访了布莱特博士，
He has been a great leader in this past generation.
在过去那代人当中，他是一个很不错的领
And
袖。
I asked him this question about humility.
问到了他关于一个谦卑的问题，
And he said the very same thing to
他跟
me.
我也说了同样的话。
He said, when I understood how great God is and the vastness of this universe,
当我明白到神是在这个宇宙中多么的辉煌伟大的时候，
and that I am less than just one speck of sand,
而我就好像是沙滩上的一粒沙一样，
and I realize how much God loves me,
我意识到神有多么的爱我，
and I am humbled under his mighty love.
然我被他的爱所折服了。
And so what we need to see
所以我们要看到的是，
is we need to see God in his greatness and his goodness.
看到
and his
要看到
holiness.
神的伟大，看到神的公义，看到神的圣洁
And。as we do that,
当我们这样做的时候，
we will be humbled before him.
我们就会在他面前谦卑下来。
So in all of your getting,
所以你所要学到的就是
get humility.
谦卑。
And God will apply grace to the heart of humility.
神会要让在心里谦卑的人得到更多的恩。
And if you want to be a great man or woman of God,
如果你要成为属神的百姓的话，
then humble yourself under his mighty
所
hand.
以在他大能的手下谦卑下来，
And just the right time,
在他的时候到的时候，他会要使你升高。
and if God lifts you up into leadership,
如果神使用你作为一个领袖的话，
God will sustain
神
you.
也
in
必要
that
支撑你
leadership.
帮助你成为一个好的领袖。
If you try to lift yourself up,
如果你想自己升高的话，
God will bring you down.
神会要让你降卑。
And so that's why Peter wrote to the leaders of the church.
所以这就是彼得给教会所写的信。
And he said, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of
所以
God.
在神大能的手下谦卑下来吧，
And he will exalt you in due time.
在他的时候，神会要使你高升。
Amen.
阿们。